Hi, I'm Zach Parmiter with Golden Eagle Log and Timber Homes. In this episode, we're going to show you how to install windows on a log home. These clients knew that they wanted 4 things in particular. They wanted to make sure to have maintenance-free aluminum cladding on the exterior with this brown color. They also wanted factory pre-finished wood on the interior. They wanted to make sure that they had low-E argon gas filled windows, and they also wanted to explore options for window treatments between the glass. Most log home builders and companies have their own way of installing windows and doors. Unfortunately, it does seem like a lot of them are coming up with this on the fly, and you really don't want your builder doing this on your log home. With Golden Eagle, we have the industry's best Weathertight window and door flashing system. Our flashing system uses pre-finished aluminum flashing under the log trim, and it has multiple watershed and sealant points. This ensures that water and insects cannot work their way around your windows and doors to enter the home. The first step is cutting the logs to the rough opening size of the windows. Golden Eagle's engineered plans are very detailed about exactly where these openings go and exactly what the rough opening size is. Next, we build a wood window buck, which the window will be fastened to. Since this home is built with 12-inch logs, we use premium 2x12s to assemble the buck system. If this were a 10-inch log, we'd be using 2x10s. If it were an 8-inch log, it'd be 2x8s. A generous amount of caulking goes between the bottom buck and the logs. Then it is screwed into the log directly below it. The windows feature our wooden spline system. We attach a 2x2 spline, which mimics half of a 2x4 spline, so that it can be accepted into the dado system of the logs. The logs on each side of the buck anchor right into the spline, thanks to the dado cut on each end of the log. We began using our wood buck system about 30 years ago. It is so simple, yet it works so well on our full log homes. We continue stacking the logs until the very top row is complete. And now we're ready to install the windows. Before we set the windows in place, we put a heavy 1/4-inch bead of silicone caulk on the buck. This is one of the first steps in keeping the windows air and watertight, and it also keeps the bugs out. We're able to ship your windows directly from the manufacturer to the job site when they're ready to be installed. This is very cost effective, and we're able to pass that savings on to you. We find that most log home companies aren't able to do this. What we like about this is that it prevents all that wear and tear from putting the windows on and off the trucks. It also prevents the windows from accumulating dust in a warehouse for months on end. With our system, we take the windows directly off the assembly line and put them onto the house. This allows them to operate at their best. Before attaching it to the buck, we make sure it's level and square, corner to corner, and then we apply roofing nails through the nailing flange. The window glass we use is specifically designed for your area and your climate. We want to make sure that you not only get the best performance, but also the most energy savings. Next, using a circular saw, we're going to put a saw kerf in the logs around the entire window. Now, putting in the saw kerf is one of the most important steps, and nobody else does it this way. We show on our engineered plans exactly where that saw kerf should go. Now, the saw kerf will be just a little deeper than the round profile of the log, and this is where the metal flashing will be installed. We use a handheld oscillating saw on the corners to keep the profile a consistent depth. After the saw kerf is complete, silicone is applied over the top of the nailing fin. This might seem overkill, especially to you builders out there, but this prevents water from getting behind the flashing. Now we're ready to install the flashing. We supply all of the flashing, and it's even pre-bent so that it saves the builder even more time on site. Once it's cut to length, we start at the bottom of the window. The flashing slides right into the saw kerf. Then we nail it to the window buck with roofing nails. This won't dent the metal flashing, and because it's galvanized, it won't rust. The reason we start at the bottom is because this whole system is installed in a watershed manner. On the sides, we run silicone from the top to the bottom, but if you watch closely, we don't run it all the way to the very bottom of the flashing. Leaving this little spot open allows for any condensation to simply run out. The side pieces of flashing are installed in a similar way, and we also put an extra bend in the corner that will wrap around the bottom piece. Now, one thing that we didn't mention earlier is that the top saw kerf is installed on the downward face of the log. This is installed at a 15-degree angle, and it prevents any water from running uphill back into the log. After the pieces are put in, a bead of caulk is used between the log and the flashing around the entire window. We supply a half log for trim to match the style of the log that is chosen with the home. The trim is cut to length and finished with a 45-degree angle. And if you look closely, we can see the half-inch gap at the end of the piece, which we think gives it more of a finished appearance. Each piece is attached to the buck only, not the log. This keeps the trim tied to the buck system instead of joining both the buck and the wall. At Golden Eagle, we kiln dry our logs to prevent settling, but if any were to occur, our window buck system is going to prevent your windows from binding or pinching. We even go as far as to seal all the joints with caulking to ensure that they are weather tight. Now let's head over to the doors. What's really great about this, and I think you're gonna love it, is that we're able to install these in the exact same detailed way as we did with the windows. That makes sure that not only are your windows weather tight, but your doors are too. And on the interior, we're using large trim, just like what we used on the outside of the home. Not only are we using that trim on the doors, but also on all of these windows. When you look at these windows, you'll probably notice that there are quite a few options that the customer was able to choose from. Not only are they picking the pre-finishing color on the wood here, they also pick the wood species. That pre-finishing color is also matching with the extension jamb on the window itself. Now that is special because Golden Eagle provided a jamb big enough to cover that large 12-inch diameter log. The client also chose the hardware color here. And then what's really special about these is the third pane of glass that has the shade between the glass. They chose the shade color, and those could be blinds, by the way, but they chose the shade color and whether it filters light or whether it's actually room darkening. So in the bedrooms, we do have room darkening shades in there. Thanks to a special hinging mechanism, we're able to fully tilt out these windows so we can get our arm behind them and easily clean them. And it's just as easy to clean an awning window. We have only touched on a handful of the details, the features, and all of the options that go into our doors and windows. And as you can tell, this is an absolutely incredible log home. And we have a lot more to share with you in the future. So be sure to subscribe as we continue to release new episodes.